The divide across the European Union is on full display. Countries going their separate ways on migrant controls. The disunity only adding to the influx as people smugglers sense weak leadership. With the 2024 European Union elections nearing, there could be a big change coming to the way Europe functions.
The great problem is that the EU is not willing to take the tough decisions. And so you get people like Maloney banging their head in frustration because the EU just won't recognise the gravity of the problem. And that will change if the 700 EU Parliament becomes majority anti-mass immigration. In other words, if Marine Le Pen's party, if Maloney's group win enough seats next June, then they can take control, and that will be much easier because they can put in their own commissioners in place, and it will become much easier to address the problems, to get unity among those parties, whatever country, who want something done to control immigration. That is a big if, however, and of course that's still 9 months away. I think we're going to see until then an increase in immigration.
Immigration is a key political issue across different European countries. The United Kingdom has enlisted a barge that can home up to 500 asylum seekers as part of their plan to reduce the daily hotel bill for migrants. That bill is currently sitting at £6 million a day.
They have cabins in them, and it's just somewhere for these people to stay while their applications for asylum are being processed. I mean, they either stay in hotel rooms at huge expense, or they stay on these barges. They're not imprisoned there. They're able to walk off should they wish at any time.
The controversial Bibi barge has been one solution attempt from the UK government. Meanwhile, in Denmark, the left-leaning government has taken a hard stance when it comes to migration.
A lot of politicians from France and other European countries have been going to Denmark this year to speak to the Danish government. And the Danish government said something that caused a sensation in many European countries, France and Germany. He said, who suffers most from mass migration? The poor, the working classes. They suffer most. And that is why we are a left-wing party. That is our bedrock of our electorate. And that is why we have a tough immigration stance. Of course, we will accept people who are genuinely fleeing war and persecution, but we're not just going to open our borders to tens of thousands of economic migrants because it will impoverish the lives of our own working class. And that's completely right. And it's not rocket science, but no other European government, not even those really with centre-right governments, which is probably what you describe the French government, are willing to accept that. And so in France, for example, it's now a year since Macron promised a tough new asylum and immigration bill. We're still waiting for it. The prevarication is extraordinary. And that's why the electorate, the opinion polls constantly show, whether it's France, Germany, the UK, 75% of the population want something done to manage immigration. They believe there's too much, it's uncontrolled, and yet they're not being listened to by the vast majority of governments.